Story about, I was looking up beauty. I was doing a lecture on what is beauty, and I looked it up, and it said, the definition of beauty, or the root word, was aura, H-O-U-R, hour. And I said, how could it be hour? What does that mean? Beauty means hour? And what I started listening to was that, or looking at the definition, it was saying beauty is when you are of age. So when you are authentically being of age, you are at the most beautiful. So for example, when your husband gives you a little tiny budded rose for Valentine's Day, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Just like a 13-year-old. But as it blooms, as it starts to open, oh my God, that's a really beautiful age. And have you ever seen a thing of roses that they're just full-on bloom? I mean, that's like 50, you know? And even when the roses, are like dried or starting to go out, I mean, each stage of a tree, each stage of a plant has a beautiful point. The only bad part is when you get a 13-year-old trying to be beautiful, look like a 27-year-old, or a 28-year-old looking like a 13-year-old with too short dresses. So when are we beautiful? We're beautiful when we are authentic in our own age, which is really good news for us in this group. Because, think George O'Keeffe, wrinkles, and she's gorgeous, right? So we're going to look at beauty today, and how do you start to see beauty more? And there's only one way, and it's through observation. So today, for only $9.99, I'm going to give you, in the next 15 minutes, a way of seeing differently for the rest of your life. There's not much left, but it's the rest of your life. So, and when I give you the big secret, you're going to say, are you kidding me? This is like sex. Why wouldn't they have told me this? Because I could become an artist. I could have drawn if somebody would have just told me this one thing. So here's what we're going to do. Just to start off, to just show you something. Take the pen. The pens we gave you are magic pens. They allow you to draw immediately. This pen, if you use this pen, don't use your regular ballpoint pen. It won't work. You have to have a black, fine-tip pen. I want you to, without thinking, no brain involved, I want you to draw me about an inch or 2-inch leaf on the piece of paper. A leaf. Ready? Draw me a leaf, quick. Don't think. No thinking. Now draw me a heart. Now draw me a pair of glasses. A pair of glasses. A hand. And a flower. Okay, I'm going to show you I didn't look at your papers. This isn't magic. But I'm going to show you what you drew. This is what you drew. You drew that. And then you drew that. And then you drew this. Oh, that was creative. Right? And then you have your leaf, something like that. Right? And you have... Oh, the all-time worst, I didn't do this one. The worst nightmare of any art teacher is the M-bird, okay? Or the sun in the corner. Now, why do I say it's the worst nightmare of any art teacher? Because what we really strive to do is to have people see again, to not draw. What are these things? They're like A and 1 and 2 and B and C and D. They're symbols. Yeah, they're symbols of things. And so they don't help us see beauty. They just we shorten it and get it over with. They're great for stop signs. You go up the stop sign, you see it, and you stop. You know what to do. But it doesn't really stop you and have you look. So what we're going to do now is we're going to learn how to see, okay? What did I give myself? 15 minutes. All right, here we go. So here's all you have to do. You're going to draw something that's the most difficult object in the world. In fact, Michelangelo and even the colleges have a special class for this because it's so difficult to draw. You're going to start there. It's your hand. Now, I chose that because it's difficult, and I knew for sure you brought one with you. So see, that works on the cruise ship. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand and put it like this, the one that you're not using. You're going to turn it over so you see your fingers, okay? And you are not going to look at the paper. So you're just going to start here. You've done this in art class, right? So it's just contour drawing. But we're not concerned that you draw the hand. We're only listening to what your brain does, because your brain's going to go wacky, okay? So you're going to start right here with the pen, and you're going to be like a little bug. You're not going to just do this Burger King of hands fast, okay? It's going to take you 2 minutes to just get from here to here. And then it's going to take you maybe another 30 seconds to make this wrinkle. Every single wrinkle in your hand, you're going to bring the pin in and out. You know what I'm saying? Like there's wrinkles here in this knuckle. So you're going to bring the pin in and out. And it's going to take you 5 minutes to get from here to here. Okay, no whipping it out. Okay, ready? Remember, we don't care. You're not going to look at the paper. It's going to drive you nuts. Ready? Go. Stop. Okay, now first of all, never mind what you drew. It doesn't matter. Okay? What did your brain say when I said stop like that? Anybody? Yeah, I'm not ready. I'm just going to go a little bit more because we're going to take a look at the difference between the right side of the brain and how it functions on the left side. And the right side likes to just be in the process, but the logical left side loves to finish things, and it knows what time it is. It's very aware of time, and it likes to do things right. So did you hear the voice in your head saying, you know, just look real quick because I want to get in the right place? And she's not going to see because there's a lot of people. She won't see me look down. Right? Did you hear that? Right? And so what else did your voice in your brain say? It doesn't matter about the drawing. We're not looking at the drawing. Yes. What did your voice say? Yeah, real judgmental. Mine looks bad. I'm not doing this right. It's going to go crazy, right? So the idea of this is to shut off the brain. It's not to be able to draw. The sort of side effect is that you'll be able to draw. But it's more of a meditation to see if you can start seeing space in time. So could you change that for me? I want to quickly, though, stop and tell you about creative and artistic development. So in all kinds of development in humans, every kind, it seems like it goes from, I'll turn this way, from you come out short when you're born and you grow taller, or you come out kind of stupid when you're born and you get smarter. Everything goes up, except for creative and artistic development. The brightest human beings and in creativity and the way of seeing the world and thinking out of the box are who? 0 to 4 years old. And the all-time losers of all mankind is what age? The lowest you can get, 10 to 12. Now, why? Because when you start learning reading and math and logic, things change. So, for example, if you're 4, this pen becomes a rocket. And the guy can see, the 4-year-old can see the little man in there and what face he has on. He knows how he feels. He knows this is going off and down. He can make anything happen. He can get under that chair, and you've all done it, and put a blanket over a table, and that's a fort. And there's Indians out there. Once you learn that this is a pen and it's for writing, and you name it, creativity levels start to drop because you are naming the object. Now, am I proposing that we stop math and reading in elementary school? No. But I am telling you that unless we get in our schools something that teaches us to continue to hear, continue to feel, and continue to see, we will be able to draw for the rest of our life and think more in the creative pattern of a 10 to 12-year-old. So if I were to ask you now to pick up your pen and draw my face, because I robbed a bank and you had to draw me, many of you would draw something like this. You'd say, that's who robbed the bank, right? It's just a little smiley face. But to be able to really look at my face, or even we'll have Virginia's in the end, you have to look at the difference between this lady that robbed the bank and my face, right? And it's a different shape. Our eyes are put on our face. Everything is different. So it's what we call doing visual research. So now we're going to start up again, and we're going to do this, and you're going to make a peace sign. Turn your hand this way, a peace sign. Okay? This time, I lied to you. A real artist really looks a little tiny bit. So what you're going to see is you're going to see an artist doing this. If I'm drawing her, I'm going like this. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm going back and forth, but mostly I'm looking. The minute I look down and draw this, I'm going to get a smiley face of her robbing a bank. You get nothing, right? So the only way to really learn to see is to stop and look. So we're going to try it again. Now, one thing you're going to notice, the entire room will go quiet. It will be silent in here. The reason is, to be able to speak or to be able to hear what I'm saying and translate, you must be in the left side of the brain. That literally takes the left side of the brain to do language and translation. The only way that you're going to be able to draw is if you're not speaking and if you move over to that yoga side of your brain where it's silent. So you know that voice that's going like that? You tell it to shut up. Okay? All right, ready? Turn your hands like this. Look at you get another piece of paper. Take a blank piece of paper. And this is for the Olympics of hand drawing now. You're really going to look. Start right here and just go up the hand. And every time you see a wrinkle, bring it in and see if you can really be aware of this hand. Ready? Go. No, you can look back and forth like I showed you. And slow way down. That's great now. I'm going to talk right now, and it's really, really going to bother you. You're going to want me to shut up. Because for you to listen to me talk takes you out of the right side, and it makes it very difficult to draw. Boy, do you guys look really silly. Okay, let's stop. Now, don't listen to your left side that says, but if I finish this, then I'll have a hand and I can hang it on my refrigerator for Mother's Day. It's not about that. It's about slowing down your heart rate, really seeing. How many people did you get to this part where you were actually looking at this V here and the distance between that, and you weren't looking at the fingers, you weren't naming them as fingers, you were only saying, I'm just trying to get from here to here. I'm just trying to get from here to here. Did anybody have that happen? You were taking pieces. So you remember the dot to dot when you were a child and you go, that's what they were trying to teach, was you don't look at the whole thing, you look at a piece and a piece and a piece, and how far is my eyebrow from my eyelid, and how is it different than hers? Oh, look at that, look at her eyebrow. Oh, now she's raising it up. So the question for this development is, and here's the good news, the only people that make it back to the point where you are at the highest level of art, Picasso said, is anyone can draw like Raphael, but to draw or paint like a child is his ultimate goal. So who are the people that remain active and open and are able to either draw or play or whatever? They're the people that stay in some form of the arts. Of course, I say that I'm selling art, right? I'm not selling bath security things. I'm selling art. But I think it's a great way of looking at it. That is, if we stay in ikebana, in cooking, in something that we do creative and really balance our life, it's very helpful to us, right? And so if you look at the brain, what we're talking about is the right side, and being in that place you take a place where there are many answers. Some people say no answers. I say there's many answers. When you're in the logical side and you're balancing your checkbook, That's a different place. There's a right answer. 2 and 2 is 4. So that we balance our day between both of them. Now, you'll also notice that when you were drawing, I say, oh, you were in the right side. Not really. Sometimes when we're drawing, we go to the right side, or that place where we're really looking, and then we go back to the left side and analyze what's not right. Because when you look down, you said, oh, that's not right. I should have moved that over there. So you're actually going between two sides. Stop the voice. Stop the critical voice. That's the whole thing. Even I'm starting to take a painting class in portraits. I can't paint at all. But I just spend my whole time saying, stop beating yourself up. So what, you're an art teacher of 30 years and can't paint. Nobody will know. You know, I just don't tell them. Yeah. So I'm doing C+ work. In another couple months, I'll do A+ work. Yeah. So here is maybe what you did the first time. It's just sort of scribbles, and then you'll see that shutting off the brain. You'll see somebody that is starting to really see in this drawing. It's not an exceptional drawing, but you can see that it looks like a hand and not a rooster. If your drawing, I'm sorry to embarrass you, but this is great. If your drawing looks like a hand and not a rooster, you did great. You did great. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So then we get really close up. You can really look at detail of a hand. Now, do we want to, sometimes I'll go to Ala Moana and people say, you're the lady that taught me how to draw a hand. That's not my purpose. The purpose is that when you go out, or when you're looking at these, when I'm being boring and you're just looking at this, how does this really look? Is it really just flat? Or is this coming this direction and bending down? And could you draw that? Well, let's just see if you can. So take a look at just this, or just this, and draw that on your paper real quickly. Just keep your eye on it, though. Don't look down, and don't make a symbol of that. You can go back and forth. Look back and forth. Just pick one of them that's difficult. Can you get one of the leaves to bend over or twist? Okay, so let's look up. So when I'm doing this travel journaling and I'm actually going to do a class, actually I thought, well, what's the purpose of me doing this if there's nowhere to go? So number one, I picked up some some catalogs from the Academy of Arts. The best deal in town besides this course is the courses at Linnacona at night or during the day for adults. It's like under $200, and you have a semester-long course in pottery, glass blowing, painting, drawing. And then many of the classes I go to, there's wine and cheese at night, so you have your wine, you're painting your bad paintings. Everybody has about 900 bad paintings inside of them. You need to get them out. Yeah, you need to make some bad art, because it's about just stopping, right? And not doing the logical stuff we do day to day, the task-oriented things. So these are journals from cruises that I want to show you, that whenever I travel or if I go somewhere, I usually bring a paper journal, and everybody on the ship is then given a journal, and they draw as they go. They've never drawn before. They just did what you did with me, and then they add watercolor into it. So the other thing I'm going to offer is on the 22nd of April, just for this class, anybody that's interested, no charge. I've got a room at Linnacona from 1 to 3, and I'm going to bring paper journals and watercolors and pens, and you may come. If I get 2 people, I'll be happy. But I don't like to present something and have nothing come of it. So I could have had you try to watercolor today. It would have been too messy and so on. So if you would like to meet me at Linnacona School, across from the museum, on the 22nd of April at 1 o'clock, I will be there in one of the rooms to greet you, and I'll have all your supplies for you. No charge. What's that? I'll send it out. Okay, Great. So this will give you an idea of, these are just quick drawings of things people saw. And they, of course, start writing to them so that you have the left side talking about what they're thinking about or things that they did. This is a lady that does books that she went to, I think, Charleston. Yeah, she was in Charleston. And she just documents what she ate and what she sees in a journal. These are the journals I'll be doing with you on the 22nd if you'd like to try it. Okay? I went to Istanbul last year, or 2 years ago. And so this is not everything I saw in Istanbul, but this was one day when I was in Istanbul, I saw that church, and that was on the top of the church, and that was somewhere else. These are different things I saw that interested me, and then I put notes into it. So again, I'm going to do one more thing after this, but it's really about trying something new, trying something scary, and you did it today, just trying to, just giving it a try. I don't know how comfortable you were, but I promise you if you come on the 22nd, I'll make you feel very safe. Now here's the last thing fun we're going to do. After you start to see and you're able to document what your day is like or what interests you and what is beautiful to you, another way of looking at things is when you look at art. And so there's a method of doing art, of looking at art with children or adults that really helps you see what is needed to see. So I'm going to take you quickly through this 5-step method and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's called building your illusionary base. Illusionary, not illusionary, but your image base. How do we build our base? So first thing I'm going to ask you is, just raise your hand quickly and I'll repeat it. What is your initial response to this painting? And you can say, I don't like it. But just a very quick one initial response. What? I want a drink. I love it. He's checking it out to see if it's worth anything. It's green. It's a secret. It's depressing, whatever, okay? Now, second thing, I want you to just say, I see. So we're only observing. We're not analyzing. We're not interpreting. So interpreting. So what I'm going to say, I'll start. I see a man who has very slicked black hair, and he's standing basically in the middle of a painting. Okay, so I see anything you see. I see? Mm-hmm.
I see a champagne glass.
Terry sees a champagne glass. I see.
A beautiful table.
You see a beautiful table that's kind of a, what color?
Red.
Reddish color, And you see,
I see a man who is very smart.
You see a man that's very smart, okay? I see a butler, okay? I see buttons, 2 buttons on the back of his coat. How many bottles are in the painting? What's that thing in the back, that line? Is that the kids will say it's a chalkboard. It's a what? Oh, maybe it's a frame of a bigger picture, yeah. Wainscoting, only if you're from the East, yeah, it's like something, a chair protector, something like that. So we're really just looking at it, okay? But in this painting is a very, very deep secret that many people kind of miss. And so the artist, the person that's drawing, like you were today, will hide what they want to say in the drawing, okay? So in this painting, there is a way of the artist having you look where he wants you to look. Now, just talk to me about how the artist uses light and dark to make you look where he wants you to look. Joyce, what do you think?
Well, he's using shadow. Also, he's the shadow of the man.
Where does he want you to look?
He wants you to look at the man holding the glass.
Yeah, right in that area there. And
It's lighter there, it's brighter.
okay, and Eileen, tell me about the red. He uses some red in places. What is he doing with red? If you put your hand up and point to all the red spots you can find in the painting. Yeah, he's kind of leading you around somewhere, isn't he? So there's something going on he wants you to see, and it's going to tell a story that you may have missed, and maybe it will help you, because nobody's mentioned anything red. Something on the glass. What's on the glass? There's lipstick on the glass. So does it mean anything or change anything about your possible interpretation of this painting if I told you that the name of the painting, the title is The Butlers in Love? So, the title of the painting is The Butlers in Love. And so, who's he in love with? Now, I've showed this to sixth graders in Kalihi, and the boys get it, the girls don't. So this painting is by Mark Stock, and Mark Stock only paints things that are about unrequited love. So I'm going to ask you, have you ever felt the way, you see how you said secret? There's something about his body. It's twisted and he's not looking. You are intruding in a very private time in this painting. And so if he's in love, who's he in love with possibly? The mistress, yeah. And how do I know? Because this painting, I'll tell a quick story and then we'll quit. I was in San Francisco and I had 5-hour layover and I got a taxi. I left my luggage back and I said, could you please take me to a place I would never find in San Francisco to eat? So the guy drove me down to the financial district to Gold Street. It's a tiny alley. I'm going down the alley and it's red brick and at the end of it is a metal door. And he says, yeah, get out and go in that metal door. So I go in the metal, I open it up, and this beautiful white tablecloth with a rose on each tablecloth, and an oak bar, and this restaurant with really great food. So I sat down, and I ordered a glass of wine, and then no paintings are on the wall except this one. And this painting isn't this big. This painting is 2 stories high. It's very, very tall and thin. And I'm looking at it, and I said, wow, that's really a cool painting, but it's kind of dark and gloomy. And then I said, hey, there's lipstick on the glass. And then I had a second glass of wine. I said, yeah, I'm really liking this painting. This is really cool. Look at, what does it mean? And I'm taking time to observe. And then on my third glass, the waiter came over and said, I said, I love this painting. He says, oh, that's by Mark Stock. He's right over there at the bar. And he's not famous. He's just an illustrator out of Oakland, California. So I went over and went to him. I said, I love that painting. He says, oh, I only paint unrequited love. So that's how I know he paints unrequited love, right? And so from that point on, he gave me his book and he gave me his signature. I was really interested in him. Now, what just happened, here's the final step, because took you through 5 steps. Initial response, what did you think when you first saw it? Describe it, take the time to describe it, analyze it with color, shape, form, and line, and then finally, you deserve, because you took the time, you then interpreted the painting and took meaning of the painting. That's the 4th stage. But the 5th stage is the most fun. Here's the question. Do you feel different about this painting than when I first put it up? Yes. How many people, don't lie, will probably go home and Google the word Mark Stock and look at some more paintings? If you push images, all of his unrequited love will come up. Mark, M-A-R-K, Stock, S-T-O-C-K. Okay? So if you are saying, yes, I'm willing to go look more, then we call that your image base, your illusionary base has been enhanced. It's different. Your feeling about this painting or this thing is different because you took time and you gave it, now have the right to judge it. So now let's judge it. Do you like this painting? If I had a copy of a poster, because I do, of Mark Stock, would you like that in your home? Some people say, no, it's too dark. Right? But you are willing to say that you feel differently about it. Now I'm going to give one last sales pitch. That restaurant is still there. I went there last month because I wondered if it was still there. It's called the Bix, the B-I-X. And if you go there, that painting is hanging above the fireplace in the same place I left it 3 years ago. And you can have dinner there. It's like a supper club. And you would never find this restaurant, except that I told you where it is. So now I'm going to ask you, How many, if you were in San Francisco, might go to the Bix and look at this painting? Raise your hand big. Okay, so you have a little bit more interest in Mark Stock. You're willing maybe to go look at the guy, right? Okay, so great, it happened, the illusionary base. I'll give one example more. Last week, I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I went with 5 girlfriends, and we all looked down and saw all the Indian jewelry, the turquoise and the thing. And we all said, who would buy that? Like, who would want some of that jewelry? And those ugly old big silver bracelets. Now the second day we're there, we're saying, well, there are some bracelets we like. And then I saw the conch shells that are they're conch belts that are $4,000 made in silver from some tribe, or whatever tribe, I forgot the name of it. And I had to have one. And so by the time the 6 of us left there, we had turquoise from head to foot. We were, Georgia O'Keeffe alive, right? We were Santa Fe, baby. Now when I get back here, it doesn't work so well. But my eyes were changed forever. I now appreciate that look of Santa Fe, if you've ever been there. So it's the same, it's really, really a fun thing to do, and I'll end here. To one, see beauty. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything to document it in a journal. When you do stop to draw, people think you're cool because they think you're an artist. When you do travel more and take in the way people dress and enhance it into your dress, you look more like an artist, or at least a traveler. Hang a few masks in your house, and you really do. Okay, so get out there, travel. Meet me, if you want, on the 22nd at 1 o'clock at the museum. I'll be glad to give you a journal, a watercolor set to travel with, and a pen. All you have to do is show up. Okay? So, yes, thank you. No, you just need to show up, and I'm going to be standing there, and you can come in, and I will give you about 2.5 hours of drawing lessons and dropping watercolor into your journals. That's it.
Let's give Lori a big hand. Now, Lori started before I ever got to introduce her. So she's eager to share the love of art with everybody. I met her on a tennis court, and she can really hit the ball hard. But she has a varied career in art, and certainly has a passion for it, from the journaling on the cruises to also helping disadvantaged young people express their feelings and be able to say what they're feeling at the time, because they are the tough times. So I really admire that she does all these different things. So let's give her another round of applause.